Okay, I forgot to make a sign-in sheet, so I'm just going to take a quick screenshot of the list of people here.
For this, right?
Yes, this is PD for sure. Oh, that's loud. Okay.
Well, no, I'm just waiting. I'm sitting here looking at launch meetings, so I'm not sure how.
Let me make sure you get signed in.
Like this right here. We make you download everything.
Oh,
Yeah. And now it should-
oh. Oh, every time. Like,
Yeah, it's
oh,
because every time people log out of these computers, they just go back to 0.
I see.
So it's like a, way to
Good thing you're here.
So I think you can just go ahead and click launch meeting and then it should work. Open Zoom. Open.
Oh,
You
right.
can type in John there.
Just my name.
Yeah. And that's what people will see. I will let you in.
Okay.
All righty. I guess I should take a new screenshot.
No, I'm connected.
Perfect.
Yay.
Okay, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen so you all can see my PowerPoint. Okay, everyone can see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So today we are going to be talking about how to create your own instructional videos. I'm kind of working this PD today out as more of a workshop. So there is going to be that kind of time built into this for you guys to do a little bit of creating on your own. If you don't have the technology at your hands right now to do that, that's okay. We can still kind of talk about things and have plenty of time to, I think we'll definitely take up the full hour. So I'm going to be talking about instructional videos. I first want to start off with kind of explaining why instructional videos are important. Instructional videos can promote student autonomy. They can promote students' digital literacy, which is great, I think, for our demographic of students. It can facilitate active learning in the online classroom, which I know some of us can really struggle with. Let me get Nancy in here. And it can also facilitate problem-based learning, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about how it does that, along with collaborative learning approach. So these are all things I think that a lot of instructors have been struggling to figure out how to do effectively in the online classroom. And I think that this can be an answer to a lot of those issues. So why do you guys need instructional videos? Well, as we know very well by now, the landscape of education is changing, right? We are moving on into a lot more online space, and it's really important that we even that playing field out for our students. Not all of our students have the same accessibility or opportunities or background knowledge about doing things online. So as we ourselves are getting more comfortable with teaching online, with using different programs, it's really important that we never walk into a classroom assuming that our students are at that same level, right? We need to come in every semester, making sure that we're providing as many opportunities for our students to figure out how to navigate this landscape, that they have the same opportunities as their peers. So like I said, we have more online and hybrid classes and a varying level of digital literacy. So this is allowing for new student populations that don't always mean that, these students, we have older students, we have younger students, they are going to have different levels of digital literacy, right? And students are not always able to get direct meetings with instructors. There's not as much in-person support. So making these videos is a way to support your students when their traditional way of seeking support is not available. And this can make your job easier. By referring to these videos, you are taking some of that one-on-one time off of your table. So it's kind of like a win-win situation in that regard. Okay. So using these videos, you can use them more than once, which is great. You can use them semester after semester. You don't have to make new videos every semester about these things. And you save yourself from repeating instructions, taking time in class, to have to work one-on-one with students, that sort of thing as well. Also, if you have to miss a class for whatever reason, you'll still have that content that you can share with your students. So whether it's, asynchronously or with the substitute, you still have that content that can be useful for your class. So I kind of want to talk about the need for this. So I asked you guys to fill out a survey at the beginning of this semester, before the semester started, to get a little bit of information about what kind of content in Tech Talks might be useful for you. So I asked you a few questions, and one of the questions was, what has been difficult about teaching online? 75% of you guys told me that troubleshooting students' technical issues during class was the most prevalent issue with teaching online. And that's kind of what I expected. This is a huge problem. It's a huge issue. We all have to do it constantly when we're teaching online. And so this is kind of a way that I think, we can kind of make up for that issue. We're always going to have students who have trouble logging in, who have trouble with their computers, who have trouble with, using Zoom or Blackboard Collaborate. That's going to happen every semester. We can't really eliminate that from being a problem that comes up. But how can we support our students without taking time away from our class, right? That's, I think, probably the biggest issue, because it takes a lot of time and the other students in the class just kind of have to wait, right? So it's a lot of one-on-one time that is taken away from other students. So this is kind of an idea. This is part of like a bigger idea of providing a toolbox for our students so that they can autonomously find the solution to their issues, right? You're providing those resources, you're creating a toolbox for them, you're showing them how to access that toolbox, and then when they are having issues, they have a toolbox they can reach into, try to find the answer, try to problem solve on their own before having to take time away from the class and reach out to you personally and, take that time away from their peers as well. So this is all leading up to kind of what I mean by instructional videos, right? So by instructional videos, I'm talking about creating instructions in the form of videos. So this can look like a lot of different things. How to navigate your Blackboard class content, how to create Flipgrid videos if you're using Flipgrid, how to post a comment or how to post a post to a discussion board in Blackboard, or if you're using something else, how to access our online curriculums like Essential Education or English Discoveries, how to navigate Zoom or Blackboard Collaborate, right? Like all of those little features, the chat, the raise your hand, microphone, audio, all of that sort of thing. And then also troubleshooting common sound, mic, or camera issues. That's a big one as well. How to download or upload documents into Blackboard, and also modeling group activities for breakout rooms. So all of these are really great initial instructional content that you can be filling a toolbox with for your students so that they can then access it on their own, be able to watch a video that models something very clearly, and they can access it in real time when they need it. So let's look at some examples of what I mean by instructional videos. So instructional videos, they can include, but they don't always have to. Like instructional videos can be a lot of different things. I'm sure there are people in this group who have made instructional videos. I feel like probably everyone in this group has watched an instructional video. So they can be very explicit instructions with examples. They can just be demonstrations. They can have video. They can have video and audio. They can have video and audio and picture in picture, right? They can have any like combination of those. They can include written instructions. They can include captions, which is a great, idea for our ESL classes. It just kind of opens for some more accessibility. Your videos can basically be as complex as you're comfortable with. So if you're someone who has made a bunch of videos before and you're like, I'm trying to level up, I'm going to do all of this extra stuff. I'm going to add external videos. I'm going to add the picture in picture and captions. That's great. Go for it. If this is like kind of a big step for you to create a video, let's just start with simple demonstration. You don't even need audio, right? It can be very, very simple. And, this can be, I'm sure all of you guys have been on YouTube. Maybe you've watched, a video on how to make a recipe, right? That in itself is an instructional video. And if you Google, oops, and if you're looking on YouTube for a video of how to make pasta sauce, you're going to find a complete, range of different types of videos. One might be just a demonstration, one might just have captions, one might be an hour-long person explaining step by step what they do. And that's kind of what I mean by it can be a lot of different things here. Whoops. Sorry, give me 1 second. So this is just a quick example of an instructional video. Why does it keep doing this? That's okay. This is a quick example of a instructional video that I created for our last Tech Talk, right? And this was, I think it's only about a 20-second video. It's very simple. This is just a demonstration video where I show you how something works online. I don't add any audio. I don't add any captioning. I don't add anything. I just show you exactly how it works.
Now, let's learn how to say hello.
Hola.
Listen closely one more time.
Hola.
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 Hola. Hola.
Okay, so this video, like I said, it's like 23 minutes long, right? And the reason why I wanted to make this instructional video was just to
Hola.
be able to give an example of how a very specific activity worked in, I think this was Mango Languages, right? And so I just wanted to demonstrate this just because there was one element of it that I thought was a little tricky, and it was just that sliding the sound bar over, right? There was just this part where you record and you have to drag and slide that over. And I just wanted to make sure that you guys saw that in order to, and I also wanted to make this really accessible and not specific so that you can also share this with your students if you wanted to as well. Just because those little parts of technology can really cause a hang up for some people. And if you can't figure it out, and it's really hard to figure it out in the moment. So this was a 20-second video where I just demonstrated. And I just went through, did the whole thing, showed how to interact with it, showed how to drag that audio over, and then showed how to, listen to them both and kind of see why this activity can be effective, right? So this is one example of a very, very simple instructional video. Let me get back in my PowerPoint here. Oh, goodness, I keep clicking on it. Give me a second, guys, I'm sorry. All right, so the way that we do this and the way that we create this type of video is through screen recording. I know some of you guys might be familiar with screen recording. If you guys just want to tell me by maybe just writing in the chat whether or not you have actually created screen recordings on your own before. So just like a yes or a no or a not really, like Ellen said. Okay, great. So this is new for a lot of people. Exciting. Okay. It's very, very simple. That's, a big reason why I wanted to share this with you guys today is because it's very simple, very easy to use. You also don't need a lot of space on your computer, which is kind of cool. There's like really great programs right now that I'm super excited about. Yeah, this is great. I'm glad that this is everyone's first time using this. So there's a few different ways to do it. QuickTime, if you have an Apple computer, QuickTime is built into your computer. It's a free program, and that's one way that you can do it. It's pretty easy to use. You don't need to download any applications. However, it's a little limited. So there's positives and there's negatives to that. There's also Screencast-O-Matic and Screencastify. And those are two free options, but they're online. You have to download them. I'm going to kind of model these and show you how they work. But often they include a watermark on your videos. So the nice thing with QuickTime is that it's kind of like your own program. You don't have to worry about like any sort of watermark or have to pay for upgraded features or anything. So that like gives you a little bit more raw sort of footage. Screencast-O-Matic and Screencastify, those might leave a watermark on your video. But some key features that you always want to be able to utilize are being able to choose how much of your screen you capture. And I'm going to talk in a minute about why that's important. And also, you want to be able to edit your video in the program. It just kind of helps to avoid another step, another program you have to use to edit somewhere else. So this is an example of an instructional video that I made a while ago showing how to use this game called Space Team ESL, which is a really fun game for ESL classes, if we're in ESL classes together in person again. But I wanted you to take a look at down here at the bottom. It says recorded with Screencast-O-Matic. That's what I mean by a watermark. So, it's not really a big deal, but it does, leave an imprint on your video. You can't get rid of it because, that's the whole advertising cost of using a program for free. So just kind of wanted to give you a little image of what that looks like. So another aspect is picture-in-picture, which is a great element of doing instructional videos. So this is what I mean. So that is what I mean by that is, I'm gonna have to make sure everyone is muted. If you can. Okay, so this is a quick example of what I mean by picture-in-picture. So this is for a class that I was teaching online where I would record, like a 45-minute lecture basically, and it was all asynchronous. So here you can see I have the textbook on my computer that I am kind of screen casting here, and then the picture-in-picture is where you can actually see me talking with the book in the background, right? So why is this a useful thing? It's definitely not always necessary at all. If this is something you're not really comfortable with, that's fine. You don't have to do it. So, but it is nice in certain cases, right? It does offer learners to see and connect with the instructor, which I know is for some people is an issue with online classes, and you're really trying to push more of that connection. It can also help to demonstrate certain concepts. So, thinking more specifically with language learners, as you can see in my example, I was teaching pronunciation, and pronunciation is really helpful when you can see the person talking, right? So I thought it was really important to be able to show myself, be able to show my mouth, be able to really be visual when talking about pronunciation. So that was important there. And it can also be more engaging for longer videos. So like I said, this was like a 45-minute video where I was teaching an entire lecture. students aren't always going to be that interested in just staring at a page of a book for 20 minutes at a time, right? So before we get into you guys kind of playing with this or me doing some demonstrations, I do want to talk about just some general best practices for creating your own videos. So only record the amount of screen that is relevant to your instruction. That's really important. And I'm going to show you an example why. It's also really important to be concise. How many people have looked up a recipe online and then every recipe you find, there's like 6 pages of a story about what that person did last week and all the things that they're interested in and all the activities they're doing, and you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and just want to get to that recipe. Maybe I look at way too many recipes online, but that is something that drives me crazy. You don't want to do that with these videos. These videos are to be concise, get to the point. Your students aren't going to scroll through all of that information, right? They need an answer to a question, give it to them quickly, or else they're not going to watch a 6-minute video, right, for the answer. Keep them quick. It's going to be much more useful for your students. When you're recording audio, or if you're recording audio, it's really important that you either use a microphone or check that your audio is very clear. Even some microphones that we use aren't super clear if they're on your headphones. So do a little test for yourself, record, see how it sounds. You really want it to sound as clear and crisp as possible. And then it's important to trim off any unnecessary pauses, right? If you have 30 seconds at the beginning where you're kind of getting your screen set up and that sort of thing, cut that off, right? Again, it kind of goes with that being concise idea. Try to trim those ends to make it straight to the point. And then I want you to be really mindful when thinking about how you're going to share this with your students. Don't say, oh, I'm just going to do it on Google Drive because that's easier for me, but you haven't actually checked in as to whether any of your students have used Google Drive, whether it's something they're comfortable using. I think it's really important to kind of source your students' opinion on this and figure out what are they actually going to use. Not what do they want to learn, not what sounds good, what's easiest for you as a teacher, but what will your students actually use? And that may be Blackboard, that might be Google Drive, that might be a YouTube channel. Like there's a lot of different formats that we can do this through, but this is essentially supposed to be resources for your students. So be mindful about how you share it with them. And just a good little bit of advice is always watch that video from beginning all the way to the end and before you share, for plenty of reasons. But sometimes we think we cut out pauses and those pauses didn't get cut out. Sometimes there's noises in the background we didn't notice. Sometimes there's things happening, we're recording at home, so something jumps in, I don't know. So it's always good to just watch it and just double check that what you're sharing is what you want to share. So just a quick example, this is another instructional video that I made. This was a long time ago where I was just showing how to use the program Uglish. I'm kind of inadvertently giving a lot of ESL teachers some good resources here. So I wanted to show how to use uglish.com. So
Hi, everybody. So
I started, just doing a full screen recording, showing how to use this website. However, I am definitely not following my best practices in this video. So to start off, I am not sharing only the part of the screen that I want to share, right? I have all of my bookmarks up at the top that you can see. You can see the date, you can see the time, you can see how much battery is left in my computer. All of that is just to say, like, those are maybe going to be some things that you don't want to share with your students. Maybe you have some personal things you don't particularly want to share. You also don't always want to have a timestamp if you want to be using this for multiple semesters, that sort of thing. This video or this website, Uglish, is like a free website. So it has built-in advertisements, and we know that advertisements always are based off of what we've been looking at. So all of my students got to see that I was looking for shoes, right? So, those things, while they're not necessarily private or like that personal, they're distracting, right? So the whole idea is that you don't want to give all of this stuff in your screen that's just going to distract from the point. So what I really should have done was just highlight a square of this much of the screen, right? To kind of show this is all you really need to see. Keep your students focused on the point. Get rid of all those distractions, right? All right. Okay. So I want to give you guys some time to make some videos. So first, I'm going to do a little bit of demonstration before I kind of turn it over to you guys and have some time to, potentially ask some questions, get some help, that sort of thing. So the first thing we'll do is pick your preferred platform. So what I'm going to show you today is QuickTime and Screencastify. I used Screencastify and Screencast-O-Matic in the past and hadn't used it in a while. And I just was using it recently for this presentation, and there's some very cool features in that. So I'm excited. I'm going to kind of push for you guys to use this one or try it out. And like I said, those two are for free, but you will need to download an extension to your computer. So just remember that or keep that in mind. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is to demonstrate an activity or a navigation for your current class, something that's going to be under a minute. So that's what I want you guys to do in this time we have, is try to create your own 60 seconds or less video where you're just showing, it can be, from that list that I kind of showed you guys before. Let me find it again. So any of these things would be great, right? Navigating Blackboard, how to create a discussion post, how to download or upload a document to Blackboard. It can even be something as simple as, here's how you log into Blackboard, right? Or here's how you access your email. It can be like anything very, very simple. We're talking very short videos. But okay, so the first thing I want to just show you guys, and maybe I should ask first, does anybody use an Apple computer at home? Is anyone using that? Because if not, I may just skip that part. Okay, so I see at least one person has a Mac. So I do just want to quickly show you guys QuickTime. So the easiest way to find it is to just go up to this top search and then start typing in QuickTime. It's not always on the toolbar at the bottom. So QuickTime has this queue. You can click on this to open it. And what it will then look like is that nothing actually opens, right? Nothing has opened. You can't see anything different. But if you look up at the top, you see that QuickTime is now open because it's written up here at the top of my screen. So from there, I'm just going to click File and then New Screen Recording. And then this will open. And then when I'm ready to record, I can just click the record button. Now I can either click to record the full screen or drag to record part of the screen. End recording by clicking the stop button in the menu bar. So I'm going to drag to record only part of the screen because this is, one of our best practices. So I only want to.
Cassidy.
Yeah.
Cassidy, we don't see any menus. All we see is the screen of your internet.
Oh, thank you, David. You're right. I forgot how I was sharing. Okay, so if you have a Mac, you know that up at the top of your screen, you have, it kind of shows you what program is open and running. So that's where you'll see it. It's up in that top toolbar. So I apologize that you can't see that there. So that's where you'll just click File and then, oh, but I'm only sharing. Can you see me? Can you see the QuickTime box right here?
No, we don't. All we see is convert your instructions into videos, the slide from slideshow.
Okay. All right, let me change how I'm sharing. Thank you so much for that, David. I will need to share my whole desktop. That's what I need to do. Okay. So can you see this up at the top that says zoom.us?
Yep.
Okay, great. So let me start that over real quick. I'm going to go into my search. I'm going to type in QuickTime, and then this is what it looks like. I'm going to open up QuickTime. From here, you'll see that that changed to QuickTime Player up at the top of my screen. You guys can see that?
Yes.
Great, thank you. So from there, that's where I'm going to click File and New Screen Recording. And then it's going to give me this little recorder. I can see that my audio is working because the sound is moving. I'm going to go ahead and press the record button, and then it tells me to either click to record the full screen or drag to record part of the screen. And I'm going to drag. So I'm going to click here and just highlight my slide to kind of show that this is all I want to record. And then I'm going to let go. I can move it if I made a mistake or change the size. When I say, okay, this is good, I'm just going to go ahead and click start recording. So now that I'm recording, and you can see up at the top here, I have this little circle with a square in it, and that square is like our stop button, right? So I can be talking here. I'm going to click around. Every time I click, you'll see it like highlights it in the video. And then I'll press stop when I'm done. And then it automatically just generates my video here. So if we watch this, so I'm going to turn that volume down. You can see all it recorded was that slide, which is what I highlighted. It only sees my mouse when it comes into view, and you can see the little circle that highlights every click I make. And so this is very quick, very simple way to make a video to model an activity. So this is what I used to make that video where I modeled that Mango Languages activity, right? So this is where if you just want some audio, or if you just want purely video without audio, this is a great option if you're using a Mac. From here, you would have to go into File and then save it to your computer. And it is a file that is on your computer versus online. Okay, so I'm not going to save that. Let's now look at Screencastify. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Screencastify. I'm hoping that the computer I'm using right now is going to let me do this. And if not, I'm going to hop over to my other computer that I'm logged into and show you there. So let's see. So you'll go into screencastify.com and you'll need to add it to Chrome. So I'm going to click add to Chrome. And what it does is it adds an extension. Your extensions are up here where this little puzzle piece is. And I'm going to show you a little bit about how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and click add to Chrome. It tells me what it can do. It can display notifications. I say, okay, add the extension. Now it shows me that it's there. Great. So to access it, I'm going to click on that little puzzle piece.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and pin it. And if I pin it, it means it's always going to sit there. It's just that little arrow with the video in it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. It's going to bring up a prompt to sign in. So I'm going to go ahead and make an account. I'm going to use my the adult ed account. And then you can agree. It might ask you who you are, who you teach, just for their own data, I'm sure. You'll need to enable your mic and your camera. And then you're ready to start recording. So I'm going to go ahead, click the extension again, and then it's going to say, what do you want to use? Do you want just the desktop? Do you want your webcam as well? And I'm going to say, I want my desktop, or I want my webcam as well. You can choose what microphone you want. And it's going to use my FaceTime camera because I'm using my computer, right? If you have a camera extension, or if you have like a microphone you're using, just make sure you note that here. So then I'm going to say record. And what this does is a little different. So this is going to either, you can choose an application window or your entire screen. So I'm going to choose my entire screen, and we can actually crop that down later. So I'm going to go ahead and say share. It gives you that little, you heard that little countdown with the ding to let you know it's recording. So now it's recording. I can go to a few different things on my whole, I'm sharing my whole screen. So even if I, move out of Chrome and I want to go to my desktop and do something, I can do that. When I'm ready to be finished, I'm just going to say stop sharing. And then it's going to give me a few different examples here. So, or a few different options here. So the first thing is just going to show me my video. I can watch it all the way through. I can immediately cut some of it if I want. So this is like that trim the beginning or the end, right? But what I really want to do is open it in the editor. So if you see that up here, open in editor. And the Screencastify editor is great. There are so many things you can do for free. It's very fun. But again, keep it as simple as you're comfortable with, right? You don't have to use all the features. So this is our video that we have here. I can zoom in and out to like get a more like granular look at the video here. It has the audio down at the bottom, and I can edit that audio as well if I want. If there's like all of a sudden, you know, a giant truck going by your window and you want to cut that audio out, you can do that down here with that audio. But let's just look at some more of the basic features here. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is crop. So here I'm going to click this, or I have to click the video, then I'll click crop. And now I can choose how much of my screen I want to share, right? So maybe I just want this much of my screen. So I say, okay, that's good, done. And now that's how much of my screen I have. Another really cool feature is you can zoom in. So if I'm gonna choose a point in time, you just click on wherever in the video you want to choose that point in time. And now I can choose something that I want to zoom in on. So I'm gonna click this zoom button. It's gonna bring up this. I'm gonna choose what I want to zoom. So I'm gonna zoom in on this little button here. I'm gonna really fit it around. Then I'm gonna click done. And then if we watch this, it shows you the time, how long it's zooming for. So I can make, I can make this shorter or longer, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and view. Where's the volume? Not sure if it'll let me do it. I'm just gonna do this. So you can see how that zoomed in on a specific time, on a specific place on your screen pretty seamlessly, which is a very, very cool feature. Another very cool feature is this blur feature. So I'm going to go ahead and click blur, and this is going to be something that maybe I want to blur this information. Whoops, where'd it go? This information on my desktop. I'll be like, oh, well, I don't want students to see my folders, right? So I'm going to blur everything on my desktop there. I want it to be in a little bit more. You can really like figure out exactly where you want it to go. And then I'm going to press Chrome. I keep doing that, sorry. And now my whole desktop there was blurred, right? So that's a really nice feature where you can just kind of choose a section. This is great for also if we're going to be logging into something in our video and we don't want our students to see our user ID or our password, that sort of thing. You can not have to worry about it while you're recording and just go, oh, I'll blur that out later, right? So that's a really nice feature as well. You can also add text if you want to add any text. I can write something down in here and add that. And then over here on the right, you can see there's a lot of different text colors, background, size, fonts, that sort of thing, all that basic stuff around the text as well. So those are those sort of main features here. The audio is here. You can change the volume. That's kind of what I mean is you can choose a point in your audio where you can like make it more quiet or more loud, right? So that's a nice feature also, or you can turn off the audio completely if you don't want to have any of that background noise. Okay, so next thing you're going to do, you're going to export it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on export. And here's a very cool feature. If you want the actual MP4 file, you can totally export it as an MP4. But this is a very cool feature is that because you're signing in with your Google account, it exports directly to your Google Drive. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. I'm going to label it, click save. And then you have a watch page link, meaning this is your edited video where students or whoever can watch it, right? So that's what this watch page here is. So I'm gonna show you a couple things. So in my, I don't think I have my, no, I do. So in my drive now, you can see I have this Tech Talk video example that I just made. But also if you look right here, I also have the raw video footage. It automatically goes to your drive. So you already have, even if in this edited version, you later see that you mess something up, you still have a version of that original recording in your Google Drive. So that is, I think, really, really great. So from here, we have our edited version. We can copy this share link and just send it out to our students however we want. You can also do a QR code if you use Google Classrooms, which I don't think anyone here does, or you can send it in Gmail, right? It has all those sort of like Google connections there. One last feature I want to point out is this interactive question feature. So here you can, it's going to ask me to sign in again. So here I want to add a question and it's just going to play and I'm going to say, where do I want to add this question? And maybe I want to add the question in the middle. Maybe I want to add it at the end. I'll add a question here. And it's going to be an interactive question that asks your viewers, your students, you know, a question. And it can be about the content. It can be about whether you can have it at the end where it just says, was this useful, right? And just have the answers be like, yes, oops, no. I'll set a correct one, save. And so now, if I go to share, I'm going to copy my watch page link, put that in a new tab. And now this is what our students would see when they watch it. So I'm going to press play. We're watching the video. It's doing all the stuff. And when it finally gets to that point where there's a question, the question will pop up. I put it at the end, so now we have to watch this whole video, but the question should pop up where we now have to interact. Do I like this tool? Yes or no? I'm going to say yes, submit. Great, that was the right answer. And then it'll finish the video. Okay, so that feature is really nice if you want to make it more interactive. That's probably more for content-based instruction versus kind of like modeling how to do something. Okay, so let me stop sharing for a moment. So what I want to do, I was hoping to get all that filled in a little less time than I did, but I want to share that Screencastify link with you. And so John asked me, can it be added to Mozilla or Safari? So this, I believe it probably can to Mozilla. I would suggest using Google Chrome, probably just because it is so like interconnected with Google. So if you have Google Chrome and you have a Gmail account, I think it might ease that whole, like it might make all of those connections a little bit easier. But I believe you can still add extensions to Mozilla Firefox as well. So you should be able to also add that extension there. Okay, I'm going to send this link in the chat. And I would love it if you guys want to try and either if you're using QuickTime to do something with QuickTime, or if you want to try Screencastify, go ahead and do Screencastify. I'd love to take about like 8 minutes to see if you guys can try and just create something really quick. It does not have to be something actually useful, but just try to get your hands on it, see if you can see how it works. And then we'll come back. I'll be here to answer any questions while you're trying. And then maybe we can like share a little bit about our experiences with it, ask some questions. So I shared that in the chat. Let's just take the next like 5-6 minutes and see how that goes. Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
Not yet.
All right, great. So John asked a question about QuickTime. So with QuickTime, you can record the audio while you're recording your screen. It can do both. You don't have to separately record audio. If you want to, so QuickTime doesn't give you as much of a editing feature. The only thing you can really edit in QuickTime is trimming the ends of the video. So trimming any time at the beginning or the end that you might be setting your computer up. But there's no way to edit anything else about the video or about the audio after you've recorded, unless you go into a different editing program. So it is, so again, John asked about separating the audio and the video. It is totally doable. You would just need to, so if you're using a Mac, that would, what I usually use is iMovie, and you have that program probably on your computer. So if that's something you're interested in learning how to do a little bit, John, I would be happy to work one-on-one with you and show you how to use iMovie for editing audio, video, and you can like layer that in different ways and edit them separately as well. So if you ever want to schedule a time to meet and work on that, I would love to do that. I use iMovie all the time. I think it's a great program.
Hi, Cassidy.
Yes.
So I'm in the middle of getting into Screencastify, and it's asking me to enable tools. And when I click on enable tools, it says that it's requesting additional permissions and that this could read and change all the data on all websites. I mean, that sounds kind of
I think you can skip that. I don't think you need to enable the tools. I clicked to skip that one.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, thank
I
you.
noticed that same thing. Yeah, thank you. I forgot to mention that. I did. I skipped that because it doesn't require you to enable those.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have to sign it.
Yes. So you will have to, if you have a Gmail, you'll have to sign
So go ahead and click. Yeah. This looks a little different. Hold on, press next. Oh, and you already added it. All right, so perfect. So what you're gonna do is click on this little puzzle piece. Paper slide. And then press that little pin button. And what that will do is if you click out here now, it keeps it up there. So it's easy. So that's our Screencastify symbol. So go ahead and click on that. And now it's gonna ask you to sign in.
So is that my email?
Do you have a Gmail, a Google Mail? So yeah, then it will be your Gmail account. Yes.
Okay, yay, it looks like Viola is the first one to share her link. Awesome. How did it go, Viola?
Sorry. I'm here. It went fine. I've been using it, so I really like it. I recommend this to anyone.
Great, you had a little head start.
Yes, I did.
Fantastic. I am going to share a Padlet link real quick. That I would love it if you guys, if we don't have time, it is 1:55. So if you guys don't have time to complete this activity, I'm going to share this Padlet link and you guys can just post links to your little screen recordings that you did today. Or if you want to take more time later today, or maybe, you know, sometime in the following week to try and practice this, and you can post those there. So I went ahead and put that in the chat. And so this is going to be a great place where you can post those. If you post something that you actually want feedback on, let me know. But it's a great opportunity for me to just kind of see, you know, who's getting a hang of it, or kind of see who's creating those. So please feel free to share your links there of the videos that you create. But you know, this is for you guys, so no pressure. Don't feel like you have homework. It's only if this is something that you guys want to take some time to work on.
Cassidy,
Yes.
I have a question. I made a short video for myself to test it out, but when I tried to watch it, I don't hear anything. Obviously, I forgot to turn my microphone on, but I don't remember seeing an option or.
It might be, so what I noticed with Screencastify is that when it plays the videos, it automatically goes to mute, especially when you're like in editing mode. So just make sure that that mute button hasn't been clicked, like a little, let me see if I have that up on a page here to kind of show you what I mean. Oy, I keep exiting.
I mean, I was muted in the Zoom meeting. Would that have affected the
No, that shouldn't
recording?
have affected that. So I just noticed, like, when you are recording, or like after you've recorded and it originally opens up, just if you look around and see if there is that little like you know, sound with the line through it to show that it's muted. And that just means it's not that it didn't record you, it's just that right now it's not going to blast your audio at you while you're still like in editing mode. So are you in editing mode, or are you in like the viewer mode?
I'm in edit. Yeah, I guess I'm in editing mode.
Because it's
Uh,
the bottom left of my screen.
could I share my screen with you and just show you?
ahead.
Is that okay?
Yes.
I guess I'm right over, wait, what are you, so yeah, so is this editing mode?
So if you go
It said
ahead,
open and edit.
open an editor, go ahead and click on that. And so this will be a good test. So in the editor, you can actually see the audio also. So this is a good way to figure out if your audio is there. Okay, so you can just click dismiss. So let's make it, yeah, go ahead and press play. Is there any audio?
No.
And if you look down at the bottom, so that if you click on that kind of like gray blue space below your video on that bottom, the very bottom like video box where you see the line moving through it.
Wait,
down there.
sorry, that's right here.
Yeah, so that gray blue space below the video part at the very bottom there. Do you see that? So
Over
if you-
here.
That's your audio, yeah. So go ahead and
Yep.
press pause and then click on that and try to double click on that audio space. Yeah, so I don't see any audio. It looks like your audio wasn't recorded.
Yeah, it wasn't recorded. Yeah,
So that might have
So-
been, because you should see like the sound waves, you know?
got it. Yeah.
So I think that might have just been you didn't allow access to your microphone, and maybe it might have
Okay.
been you accidentally skipped over that when you skipped the tools also. You know,
Maybe so.
that happens back to back there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that must have been what happened. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so guys, it is like about 2 o'clock. I don't want to keep anyone longer than they would like to stay. I'm happy to hang out here for like 15 more minutes if you guys want to kind of keep playing around with this and troubleshoot. But those of you who are ready to be done for today, that's fine. For the people who are interested in heading out, like, have you guys been able to at least add the extension into your Chrome?
You know, I thought I did, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to go back again and try it again later. Yeah.
Susan, look for that little puzzle piece at the top too.
Okay.
That little puzzle
Okay.
piece. If you click on that, it shows you your extension. So it kind of gets
Okay.
once you do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. It
Thank
looks
you.
like fun. Yeah.
Good. As always, as you guys are playing with this in the future, when you actually have time to do it, please just reach out to me. I'm happy to always schedule one-on-one Zooms or whatever to help you guys do some of these as well. Like I said, they can be super, super useful. I'll be posting this video in our Blackboard faculty forum. So that can be a nice way to kind of come back and just zoom to the parts that you need to for some more instruction on how to do this again in the future as well. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, guys, have a great day. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to hang out, I'll be here for a little bit. So it's up to you all.
Thank you, Cassidy.
You're welcome, Nancy.
Even though I couldn't figure it out, I need to sit and try it.
That's okay. That's okay. We got plenty of time. We can try it out
But
later.
it looks cool, and I think it's something where we could teach the students too. They might think it's really cool,
Yeah, definitely. You can.
right?
This is definitely something your students can do on their own to present their own activities or projects. And
Yeah.
that's great for online class like projects.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, you know, the other thing that I just learned today also is you have two different computers going like I do in my class.
I do.
And I just realized that, you know, sometimes when I'm sharing my screen, I can't see my students, but then if I turn my computer now, it just suddenly clicked right now. They could, they would, right? They would still be seeing me and I could still see that, anyways. I learned two new things, but I didn't learn how to do a video.
At least you learned something. At least you learned something, you know?
Okay,
I'll take it.
so much to learn. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'll get back to you if I don't figure it out. Thank you.
Okay, good. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks.
Okay, well, I don't think I'm worse off than anybody else.
I don't think you are. So I'm gonna turn this just in case. Oh, go ahead. Stella.
Cassidy,
Yeah.